welcome to another edition of Talking SANFL. We are 4 rounds in. My name is Andrew Hayes. This is Daniel Menzel. Let's get straight into the I Perform intro. Some interesting results, and we'll start at Unley, where we find the Double Blues the only undefeated team.
Yeah, they are the only undefeated team, and they only just managed to pull the win out against the Dogs, who were gallant all day. They started really well. They took the lead early and they didn't give it up until late in the game. Sturt were coming and just couldn't quite hit the front, but they did late thanks to Marty Frederick and Josh Hone, a really nice goal as well. So 4-0, they're going really well, the Double Blues.
Those boys might feature a little bit later on in the show, but the positive for Centrals is, it's never easy to play such a good team at Unley. They were in it, like you said, right up and towards the end. There's a lot to look forward to for the Dogs.
Yeah, there is. They're playing some good footy at the moment, and they've just got to continue to bank some wins against some good sides, and they'll be thereabouts.
Next game was a little bit more surprising, I've got to say. The Crows taking on South Adelaide. This was the pre-game before the AFL match, and the Crows smashed the Panthers.
They did smash the Panthers, 134-50, but 19 goals 20. They probably should have won by more. And if you have a look at their third quarter, they kicked 2 goals 9 in the third quarter. Now, if you swing that the other way around, they kicked 9-2. This game is 120, 130 plus. They kicked 8 in the last quarter as well. We do know the Crows are as good as anyone offensively when they get their game going, and they made South Adelaide look second rate on the weekend.
This was an interesting result. The Eagles travelled to Prospect to take on North Adelaide. Never easy playing North on their home deck. Take us through this one. It was 16-point difference, but no doubt you would have probably fancied yourself a better result.
Yeah, look, they're a tough opponent at home, North Adelaide at Prospect, and they proved it on the weekend. 10-10 to 7-12. It was a reasonably even game. They had a good second quarter, which just put them in front by a few goals and held that margin throughout the game. But a reasonable battle between two teams that are not going at their best, but they're building, and North are certainly starting to do that now.
Port Adelaide v West Adelaide out at Loxton. So good to see the SANFL going out to the country to celebrate the great Russell Ebert. Port just too strong for Westies in the end.
Yeah, they were. They jumped them here. They were up 8 goals to 1 at half time. And we did talk about West Adelaide, a real opportunity to go with back-to-back wins early in the season. But 8 goals to 1. They did come back nicely. They kicked 9 goals in the second half, the Bloods, but went down by 17 points.
Redlegs v the Bays, to round it out, there is nobody that would have predicted that the Redlegs right now to start the season would be 0-4.
Yeah, they are struggling, and they showed it again on the weekend. They weren't really in the game against Glenelg. They started reasonably well. They kicked 2-6 in the first term, but after that Glenelg had their way and went on to win by 30 points pretty convincingly in the end. So Glenelg starting to string together a couple of nice wins. As we have a look at the ladder now on the screen, and you'll see there that, as you said, Hazy, Sturt is the only undefeated team now, and I think there's probably 4 clear teams at the moment that have just separated themselves from the pack.
Yes, so Central District's sitting in 5th, so they're on 2-2, but the other teams, like you mentioned, North, the Bays, the Crows and Sturt, all look really, really good. Look, I don't think you could ever write off an Eagles outfit at any stage, but you're right, I think there is definitely a division between the top sides and the other half right now. Time now for the SANFL summary. So let's do this thanks to our good mates Rejuvenate Massage and Fitness. Let's start as well with the moment of the week. Now, you mentioned before a couple of classy goals at Unley.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at a couple of them here. They really good players. Marty Frederick does his first one, takes the game on. Really nice finish there to put Sturt back in the hunt in the last quarter. And as we see here, Josh Hone, really well done, used his body beautifully. Finish. This was the first time Sturt hit the lead for the game, and they were able to hang on to this. So huge couple of moments there for the Double Blues.
Talking point of the week, the Crows smashed South, which isn't overly unusual because the Crows are very much up and about. They're going to be a big force this year, but South Adelaide, where exactly are they at?
It's a great question. We went into the season, they picked up some nice recruits from AFL teams, and we talked about their last flag ban in 1964. Maybe this is the season for South Adelaide fans, but the way they're playing at the moment, they got beaten by West Adelaide last week. Are they done?
Geez, it's hard to make a case for them right now when you're losing by such a margin. I know it's still early in the season, but definitely there'll be some panic stations right now at Noarlunga. They're coached so well, and like you said, they've got so many good players, but not good signs, that's for sure. Stat of the week, Campbell Combe. Fun to watch this bloke in action, unless, of course, you're playing against him.
Yes, no, that's true. And it was good to see him go so well. But you obviously don't want him to play too well when you're playing against him. And he did that on the weekend. 29 touches, 14 tackles, and 12 clearances. He dominated the game around the contest and was the difference in the game in the end.
You love a good tackler too. Tom Lewis, I think he picked up 15 tackles. I've seen him get 20 or 21 tackles one time at the parade. Just those guys who can find the ball and tackle as well, they're absolutely everywhere.
He was very good again on the weekend, Lewis, and he's averaging 16 tackles a game this season. It's a pretty incredible stat.
Time now for our tips and predictions. Now, it means it's not a competition, but if it was, unfortunately, you'd be coming second in this. You're at 13 and I'm currently at 14, so who would have thought? I'm surprised myself.
You do know your SANFL football, Hazy, so it doesn't surprise me there, but I'll see if I can get one back on you this week as we have a look at the upcoming games. We'll start with Centrals and West Adelaide. I want your bold prediction from this game as well as your tip. I'm going to go with the Dogs at home. What's your prediction and what's your tip?
I'd like to disagree with you, but the fact that it's at Ex-Convenience Oval, it just makes a huge difference. We saw what happened to the Crows a couple of weeks ago out there. It's a different world. So I'm going to say the Dogs to beat the Bloods, and I think they're going to do it by at least 4 goals plus.
Yep, don't mind that. We'll move to North Adelaide, taking on Adelaide. This might be the matchup of the round. At Prospect Oval, Saturday, 2:10. I'm going to go with the Crows to win this one, and I'm going to say that Matt Crouch and Jackson Haitley will have at least 60 between them and will help them win that game.
So the other thing that we need to take into account as well is that who's exactly playing for the Crows. They might be boosted even more if Harry Schomburg comes back. A few sort of late pullouts. Matt Crouch didn't even play on the weekend, so he will definitely play. In saying that, I just like the Roosters at home. I'm going to say the Roosters to win by less than 2 goals.
Wow, okay, so there we go. We've got one different already as we move into the third game for the weekend, which is South Adelaide taking on Glenelg at Flinders University Stadium. So the home ground advantage, we talked about how much South Adelaide is struggling. I'm going to go with Glenelg. I think the form is there. What's your bold prediction and tip on this game?
Again, I'm just going to go against the grain, if that's okay. It's a different world out there. It's as different out there as it is over in Elizabeth, 2 different sides of the planet. Big response from South Adelaide. Very bold, but I think that they'll win. That is the Panthers over Glenelg by less than 2 goals. Okay,
close match up there, but South to win for Hazy. So we have a look at Port Adelaide taking on Norwood. Geez, all these games are even predictions and even games. Port Adelaide take on Norwood. They come off their first win, the Port Adelaide SANFL team, at Alberton Oval, Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Norwood have yet to win a game so far in season 2023. We touched on how incredible that is. I think Norwood will get their first win for the year. They'll kick off with a nice win with Ben Jarvis to kick 4 goals on the weekend.
There you go. I just can't see. I think I've been saying this for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I can't see the Redlegs going 0-3. Then we said can't see them going 0-4. And now I'm going to say can't see them going 0-5. So you get close though.
You're going to pick them to win?
I'm going to pick the Redlegs to win.
Okay, so we agree on that one. We got a couple of differences so far. We'll see what we choose on this last game, which is a 4:40 start on Saturday afternoon at Woodville Oval. So the Eagles back at home, first home game for the season. We're looking forward to that. Eagles taking on Sturt. I'm obviously going to pick our boys Eagles to bounce back. At home, I think it is important. We talked about the home ground advantage and the difference that makes. Where are you going to go and what's your bold prediction?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say that I think you guys are very much due to find your form, and all these players, these big gun players that have come back and tried to find a couple of weeks just to really find themselves. That's Riley Knight, that's Lehman, that's Tumpus. I think they're really going to fire. But my big bold prediction for this one is Daniel Menzel to kick at least 4 goals. Because boy, oh boy, would you.
I'd like to kick it just at least at 1, but we'll take 4, all right? So you're right, I am due, but we're not playing great footy at the moment. Hopefully we can turn it around this week. Who did you pick for that one?
The Eagles.
You have got the Eagles. Okay, so we've got a couple of differences there, so we'll see how we go with those ones. Now it's time for Hazy's Multi, thanks to Top Sport.
All right, time now for my multi, thanks to our good friends at Top Sport. And don't forget as well, sign up to Top Sport. If you are going to do that, use the code word Cotton Media for the best markets and odds. Feels like form's been pretty ordinary the first few weeks, but bounce back in a good way. It's finally.
You did, you got one. And we just needed to get 1 win on the board, a little bit like the Redlegs. I think get 1 on the board and you can go from there. And we're off to a winning start after last week's selections of Sturt, Adelaide and Glenelg. where are you going to go this week to make it 2 in a
This is just
row?
what happens. I think the floodgates just open up now. So absolutely, go hard and stick with me. I'm going to say the Bulldogs, 3-leg multi. You've got the Bulldogs to beat the Bloods. I think that's probably one of the more surer bets of the round. Next up, this is a bit of a punt, so good value for money.
Yes.
I've got South. So I've got the Redlegs to beat Port Adelaide.
Yes.
And then finally, this is where you're going to really cash in and really make some good money. I've got your Eagles to knock off Sturt for their first loss of the season.
Yes.
It's all on you. It's probably going to be on your shoulders.
It will be, and it'll be the late game too. So I'll know going into that whether Hazy's Mossy's on the line or not. Obviously, gamble responsibly.
Let's just not get you in trouble here. That potentially makes a difference to the way you play. That's not what you're saying at all.
No, it won't affect my performance, and obviously the money here goes to charity as well. But let's hope that we can kick off back-to-back wins for you in
Yes.
Hazy's multi, thanks to Top Sport.
All right, good luck. Enjoy the footy. Thanks for watching.